left to a total downfall for Kairi Sane in WWE.
So, Donka, got more work for me?
Maybe. You got an ion blaster? I need someone to hit a stash for me, but you'll need one to get inside.
I can mod my blaster. I've been doing it for years. Just need the parts.
You know what? I got a contact, a Pantoran named Beeler. Owns a pawn shop nearby. I'll tell him you're coming.
Really? I mean, thanks, Donka.
Yeah. You get that blaster working, call me. And Kay, I'm not the only one who'll give you work. Take a breath, pass me around. There's always some action to find out here.
What's Joshi, you ask? Well, Joshi is a Japanese term referring to women and girls, so in short, Stardom is the leading female wrestling promotion in Japan, and to be honest, probably the entire world too. She officially passed her pro test at the end of that year, says, and this character and look and entire aesthetic would stick around for pretty much her entire wrestling career. As Kairi would win her first title in Stardom in 2013, winning the Goddess of Stardom tag titles alongside Natsumi Shosuki, though their reign only lasted a month. That same year, though, she won the vacant Artist of Stardom Championship, which is a trios belt, and the next year regained the Goddess belt, getting an 8-month reign with the title this time. And to top it all off, in the next year, in March of 2015, she would win the top prize in Stardom, winning the world title by defeating Io Shirai to win it. She would lose the belt to Miko Satomura in June of that year, and pretty much in just a few years, Kairi had achieved really all there was to do in Stardom, winning every single belt. She would also do some work in America for the first time with her one-match run in the Underground, being very
How do you know my name?
I keep an eye out for new talent. Name's Varric. I've got a real job for you.
I hope a real job means real credits.
It does for the Hutts. The Pikes are muscling in on Jabba's creature smuggling business, stealing his buyers in the core worlds. Find out who they're selling to, then take out their factory farm.
Have up front or no dice?
You'll get paid when you deliver.
And Kairi now under the brand new nickname of Kairi Sane. No one is incredible fun.
You got time for a game, right?
As she defeated Tessa Blanchard, Bianca Belair, Dakota Kai, and Toni Storm in that order to advance to the finals of the 2017 Mania Classic, and in the final she was met with Shayna Baszler. And once again, Kairi Sane would win as she defeated Shayna Baszler in history as the inaugural Mania Classic winner in huge ceremony for her WWE tenure. And with that tournament victory, she earned herself a shot at the vacant NXT Women's title, as this would be in the form of a four-way match at TakeOver War Games 2017, with the emblem coming out on top. From there, though, Kairi Sane would assimilate into the NXT brand and start working on TV regularly, being presented as one of the top women's stars, as she slowly but surely worked her way towards getting another shot at the NXT Women's title. As her next chance at the NXT Women's belt wouldn't come until the summer of the next year, as at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2018, she would go for the belt once again, now being held by old foe and former Mania finalist of Shayna Baszler. As in a very good match, Kairi would dethrone Shayna once again to win the NXT Women's title, and now she's at the very tippity top of competition. Her title win and a big tournament under her name of WrestleMania. However, Kairi's actual reign with the NXT Women's title wasn't all sunshine and rainbow, and in fact, it's probably one of the worst NXT Women's title reigns in history of WWE, as she held the belt for only 71 days in total without a successful event under her name, and she lost it by five positions. To Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane would try numerous times to regain the belt, but was just no success.
Rick's contacts out in the staff.
The final attempt coming on the 17th
Going for a ride next?
2019 episode of NXT, where as per stipulation, if she
Something
lost the
tells
match,
me you're
she
not
would never
just
be able to
enjoying
challenge
the view.
the belt again.
Those
And she
pirates
did
find our
indeed
camp
lose this
every
match
season.
and was not allowed
The Crate
to
of
challenge
Flyers
the
usually
belt
keeps them
again.
off our
So
back,
the
but we
stipulation
had a difficult
started
season
to
this
wipe
year.
her off
They
NXT
took everything
as a
from us,
main
including our
roster
charms.
imminent
They aren't
and
worth much
Thank
money,
you, man.
but they have a lot of meaning.
Like the
to
white
us.
one.
I might be able to help. I have experience.
I don't want any trouble. If you can go in quietly and take back our charms, we'll pay.
As their manager, at first,
Leave it to me.
they would take over the women's tag division. As they first won the women's tag belts at Hell in a Cell 2019, winning them off of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, and they would defend the belts numerous times, holding them for over 6 months, including the infamously very bad match against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair at TLC in the main event in a TLC match that Kari unfortunately won because following getting an iPad chucked to her head, and Kairi Sane would return to action a couple of months
That sounds like the most embarrassing way to get concussed, doesn't it, as a wrestler? Having an iPad bounced off your head.
And shortly after this, Kairi would get injured again, this time at the hands of Nia Jax, who seemed to be injuring a lot of people at this time.
You leave Nia Jax alone, she's Samoan. It's part of her character. She's like, you don't play the werewolf for you, just people. Let's be honest here. Well, the werewolf hasn't even one once to say. Of course, I think it's
For Kairi, though, herself, her involvement in this move was short-lived, as after getting attacked backstage by Bayley on July 27th, it was announced by Kairi Sane herself that she would actually be departing WWE
not smart.
This was a big out-of-nowhere announcement, a very sad announcement to see Kairi Sane leaving WWE so abruptly and so early on, but she said she was doing this back in Japan, husband, which of course, to be fair, not really up to any of us to judge that, and sure enough, Kairi Sane would disappear from WWE just like that, and she remained under contract for another year as she worked as an ambassador for the company, but her contract would officially expire in December of 2021.
good money, that's good money, that is. They've been one of the figures ambassadors.
Later, when she made her big return back to stardom, and this was a really great time for Kairi Sane to make her return back to the Joshi wrestling scene, as the new IWGP Women's Championship just got introduced back in.
How's it going?
And this belt would give the historic opportunity for Joshis to work New Japan Pro Wrestling shows for the first ever time, as at the end of 2022 and New Japan's historic X-Over event, Kairi would main event the show against Mayumi Watani in the finals to crown the first IWGP champion, and Kairi would make history once again with another inaugural tournament win, winning the whole damn thing and becoming the IWGP champion as the first ever champion. Once again, though, just like her first NXT Women's title reign, this reign was not all sunshines and rainbows, and in fact was quite a nothing title reign once again, as this reign with the IWGP Women's title belt only lasted 90 days with only one successful title event.
something else.
Goodbye.
And shortly after this, Kairi would become a free agent, and the door was now open for her to return to WWE again, which she would indeed do in late 2023 as she returned at Crown Jewel and instantly joined the Damage Control stable. And this really was a great spot for Kairi Sane to be at this wrestling.
So you get a thing for spending 1,000 things that are merchant. Of course, with $1,000 one item, spends other stuff, still don't get it. Screw you.
And they won pretty much every belt that they could win from singles and tag, with Kairi Sane and Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors, reuniting as a team once again and winning the women's tag belts once again as well. However, when they did lose the belts and then returned face shortly soon after, things kind of started to go downhill. As first of all, Kairi Sane got injured once again in January of 2025 as she had to gets surgery on her thumb. The time absolute damage control quietly disbanded and notified one of the members was strongly released from WWE. And Curry saying that make the WWE return on May 19, 2025 wrestling. And at this point now, they post side characters, Sky and Asuka, who WWE seems far more interested in giving focus to. I'm sure herself and Asuka did win the Women's Tag Belts once again. Third reign, but these only lasted 56 days and was very much a fear-down reign. And after that, it was just all downhill once again as Io and Asuka started each other with tension boiling between the two of them, and Kairi at this point was a total side character and not factored in this feud. As on the Raw of the WrestleMania 42, Kairi said full service shop. Last WWE match as she teamed with Asuka and losing effort to Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, and just 4 days later, Kairi Sane was shockingly released from the WWE alongside others. And WWE fans were pissed and very angry about Kairi Sane being released from the WWE, as she really didn't get to play much of an important role in the feud between Io and Asuka, where realistically she should be a focal point of that feud. They should be fighting over her. As out of all the various releases that had happened and the cuts that took place, it seemed as though the WWE were most outraged about Kairi Sane. But despite the backlash and despite the fans letting their voices be heard, the We Want Kairi hashtags and the We Want Kairi chants at shows, it unfortunately led to nothing, and it's most likely that Kairi Sane will not be returning. It's true. There's been evolution in the system. And I'm just going to
Jeremy likes to spend hours baking delicious quiches. You see just like space time. Like security boots.
Returning back to WWE. Okay. And yeah, Kari's wrestling is version of the dope should end up at next week's wrestling. What is though is that Kairi Sane was not given their strength in the WWE run.
Oh shit. She was given the title, she was given a massive tag team. I'm sorry, but once you got the title in your hands, that's about as big a push as you get, man. If you haven't gathered the fans to at least keep you in the mid card after that, then. She was given champion, you just told us how she beat Shayna Baszler. Come on, man. Yes. She failed after 70 years.
She was always just a member of a team or a stable, where she was always a side character in that. And ever the main focus, and everybody spotlight on herself.
Because the shocking sounds, which was just yet another Japanese lady that leaps off the ropes and just tumbles at it. They're chinchillas. But you've already got three of them doing the same thing. I mean,
yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what Kairi Sane does next. Obviously, there's speculation about AEW or is that could have them come to AEW. But obviously, there are always questions about AEW and how they handle their women. So, would it be a good idea for Kairi Sane to go to AEW? Maybe not. And other than that, I guess other possibilities are Stardom return once again. Maybe TNA, I couldn't see that happening though. Or maybe MLW, there's some judgings on MLW. Kairi Sane versus Shotzi Blackheart and MLW as well. I would not say no to that. That sounds pretty exciting. Yeah, it's just a guessing game in what Kairi Sane actually does next. Unknown right now, and we'll find out until those 90 days are up. But as I said once again, I really feel as though Kairi Sane just never got.
I absolutely love that this creature sneaks with it. I love the fact this creature sneaks with you. Don't change his complete body movement.
Everything's quiet here.
He knows when to go sneaky, sneaky.
Never anything above that after this. But yeah, guys, that's about all I have to say on the firing saying
Nix, hit that barrel.
downfall is up to like for you. Comment down your thoughts and firing saying
Never mind.
how to find back to what I'm saying. Do let me know in the comments, sound on, and make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video on the TTW channel. It's my full content wrestling to get you. What are you doing? Goodbye.
Mongo. Oh, what's up this weekend? It's Spider-Man Noir. Spider-Man Noir. It's got Nicolas Cage in it. Yeah. And it's not like Spider-Man like you used to Spider-Man. No, it's Spider-Man like... Have you ever seen shows set during the 1920s, like where everyone's like dressed in fedoras and things like that? He doesn't dress like Spider-Man, he wears like a fedora. That's Spider-Man. He's badass. But ridiculous. He must have seen a Spider-Man. I know it's not the White Force, but it wasn't the lives that destroyed Hogan's career. It was his racism.
Professional wrestling is unlike any other sport because not only does it require you to be a world-class athlete, it also requires you to be a professional pretender.
Yeah, you've got to be a good actor.
Organizations are essentially
It's the face if you break it in.
show with scripted monologues, pre-planned match results, and wrestlers acting as heroes.
I've got pictures. I've seen videos you can go wild on the cross. Most very funny guys going very charged around policy. He was rash. I've seen this on the WWE, motherfucker. Plus, what would go hell, dust,
This truly was larger than life, but with Hogan, it goes a step further. Most method actors work on a few years maximum, and then they are able to go back to real life.
You won't get any better than this. That's the truth. So my understanding is how he's going to find the police off here, but how they're going to find the police here is how they're doing it in communistic countries, where they don't attack the police's powers directly, they attack the people's perception of the police. So they turn into service rather than enforcement.
He could not control with his team of writers came crashing down, from ruthless cheating on his wife with his daughter's best friend to getting caught admitting to being a full-blown racist to nearly having his entire legacy erased from the history books. Hulk Hogan got so caught up in his endless lies that it destroyed his reality. This is how it happened. Jared was raised in Tampa,
Can you find me something, baby?
professional wrestling on TV.
Oh my god.
Admiring the
It's horrifying, Mason.
on screen. Although he enjoyed the spectacle,
Go the white horse, the white horse.
He talks about how he was on his way to making it big. That is, until his body reached its limit.
Nothing here.
So that's on pause. All handle is all placing space from that capital. They have been cast on the capital.
There's nothing here.
Base and have the same arm.
Since Hogan became such a superstar, one would assume that there would be some sort of confirmation from the Yankees or Reds that they were once scouting a wrestling phenom. However, there's proof that that never happened. It became a meme in Hogan's life to embellish or exaggerate stories so much so that he was not
Follow my lead, Nix.
where he says one of his favorite stories is about being almost a base guitar after his baseball team.
Now you're clear, TK-2519. Eliminate the target.
Oh, come on.
Watch out!
Oh, God damn it. Do the white horse.
Career came to a screeching halt, and Terry decided to pursue music, spending a decade playing fretless bass guitar in several Florida-based rock bands. By 1976, he formed a band called Ruckus with 2 local musicians. He claimed he was so good, one of the most legendary rock bands of all time recruited him. I used to be a session musician before I was a wrestler. I played bass guitar. I was big pals with Lars Ulrich, and he asked me if I wanted to play bass with Metallica in their early days, but it didn't work out. Just a few days after Hogan said this, Lars Ulrich went on the Howard Stern show and said that he has a photographic memory, but I certainly have no recollection of doing anything with, quote, Hulk Hogan, end quote. After Lars called out Hogan's lie, Hulk drastically changed his story.
Metallica gave the bass player a call like, God, I love you. Metallica's like, I want to give my attention when I had Metallica.
Perhaps Hogan became accustomed to scripting his persona in his career, that he tried to boost up his real life story a bit. Sure, this can be seen as harmless exaggerations. His bad habits, almost end the past of his life, and eventually lead to his demise. Have you ever Googled your name and seen yourself on one of those strange sites that has way too much information about you? Feels pretty weird. I'd really rather that kind of stuff wasn't available to anyone who's looking for it. Data brokers are making tons of money selling more information to robocallers and spammers. In the past year, there was a breach of the national public data. An incident compromised over 2.9 billion records used for background checks, including critical personal information such as phone names, addresses, dates of birth, phone numbers, and most importantly, social security numbers. That's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, Aura. Aura can find the data brokers that are sharing your information. These brokers are legally required to remove your info if you ask them to. However, they make it very difficult to do so. That's where Aura comes in and submits an opt-out request for you. You can try Aura for 2 weeks using that link, Aura.com/.
Are you joking?
Like antivirus, parental controls, password management, identity theft, and more. Everything for one-on-one.
Acknowledge CK1616.
All my different accounts, password manager, device. It helps me keep all organized, and even let me know if any of them have been compromised. Spam call detections by random numbers and spam texts. I'm not leaving myself and my family vulnerable.
We got this, Nick.
Data breaches and programs. And if you don't want to either, you can go to Aura.com/Patrick.
Threat has escalated. The fugitive is extremely dangerous. Hold the line and wait for backup.
Shredded at Hector's gym in Tampa, Florida. He encountered.
I was about to say, all this time said he was good at guitar, but I was like, so probably take it.
I started playing, and this kid asked for the full band, and a couple wrestlers came into the show. Then a couple of nights later, even one came in because they got told each other that there was this kid.
Copy that. Keep looking.
Okay, should be good next. Next, hold this for me, okay?
All of a sudden, I knew it. There was a bunch of wrestlers at our gigs. Regional wrestlers from
Should be useful.
Miami, Orlando, and Tallahassee. So they'd come back to Tampa every night, where we would all be playing until 3 a.m. in the morning. Notable attendees included Jack and Gerald Briscoe, better known as the Briscoe Brothers, a tag team wrestling duo in the area. In 1976, the Briscoe brothers encouraged Hogan to pursue wrestling after being impressed by his growing physical stature. And in 1977, Hogan embarked on his
All units, the fugitive has been spotted near Miragana Valley. Hurry!
But Elvis died 11 days after Hogan's first match in 1977, and that match was which is where Elvis was. Terry didn't actually come into a full-blown wrestling career until 1979 when he had come to the stage and Terry
Oh, you idiot.
On the independent circuit, even appeared
probably must did that. Shows you like which one's a right, which one's a wrong, but completely ignored them.
Wrestling, where he made a name for himself. And while Hogan was growing his brand in East Asia, he claimed in his autobiography, My Life Outside the Ring, that his work in the region had allowed him to wrestle 400 days per year. If I say I wrestled 400 days a year, it's no exaggeration. My years were actually longer than 365 days. There were times when I'd fly back and forth to Japan twice a week just to wrestle. Now it was nothing to wrestle in Madison Square Garden one day, then fly all the way to the Egg Dome in Tokyo the same day, because you'd gain 14 hours.
That seems a bit of a loophole in the game's security, doesn't it? So they're sending. I tapped the sort of area where the cops are. Then it sent out the cops to arrest me, but within inside the area, there's a computer I could turn off the wanted alert. So wouldn't that make sense that those become nullified? Because if you're a cop racing towards, I don't know, the library, and then the library calls and goes, no, we changed our mind, you'd still turn up, wouldn't you? It was a false alarm. That's it.
Millions of UK drivers to alcohol
Hold on, Nix.
Yeah, but I don't care. That's the weird thing. I sound really terrible. But like, if I've got a car loan or I've got a bank loan, like that, and I found out years later that there was commission there for someone. Expect commission things like that. I don't pushing for me into your back. Sounds so wrong. People sing down, singing the whole accessory. They got, oh, he likes us being pushed up on you. He likes us hard surgical objects.
Especially in the 50s and 60s. However, major changes were on Vince McMahon bought the WWF from his father, a territory that controlled
shit, yeah. I'm on one of those where
the entire division was to sign the best and most popular wrestlers exclusively to the WWF, so they could not wrestle in any other promotion.
Bro, I thought this was Saturday.
Back then, it was seen as a merciless business practice intended to dismantle the wrestling industry and create one giant monopoly. And as we all know, it worked. But after Hogan's acting role in Rocky III, he became a mainstream superstar. And at that moment, Vince McMahon knew who the face of the WWF was going to be. Terry established himself as a fan favorite. Within 1 month, he won his first WWF World Heavyweight Championship at Madison Square Garden. His takeover was in full effect. He was headlining WWF events every night to sold-out crowds across the Northeast, continuing to amplify his superstardom.
I feel
In his interviews, Hogan often referred to his fans as Hulkamaniacs and introduced his 3 demandments: training, saying prayers, and eating vitamins. Over time, he added a 4th demandment: believing in oneself. Hulk was larger than life, physically and metaphorically. He stood at a staggering 6 foot 7 inches tall and weighed 295 pounds with 24-inch biceps, all while containing a superstar aura.
It's because you were stressed about going up to the Unword, up to Leslie's.
Welcome me. If you want me to. Something that was saying, Charlie, something that was sweeping the cosmos from someone's head. It's like a cult.
It was nice.
But it does what the Hulk does. It's like truth, justice, and
Hogan's image was plastered on it. He used lunchboxes and video games, making him a pop culture phenomenon, one of the most recognizable figures worldwide. He was named the most requested celebrity of the 1980s for the Make-A-Wish Foundation's children's charity. He featured on the covers of Sports Illustrated, the TV Guide, People magazine, while also lending his own CA Saturday Morning titled Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. He was officially the face of professional wrestling. Hogan and Vince McMahon developed a very close relationship. Even though Vince was a ruthless businessman who often took advantage of his wrestlers, Hogan seemed to protect the interests of the corrupt CEO rather than his fellow co-workers. At least that's what WWE Hall of Famer Jesse Ventura says.
You and Hulk were once good friends. Yeah. What's the likelihood of that ever being repaired?
Never.
What?
Can't trust him. And he's the one that ratted me to Vince when I tried to unionize. I found that out under federal